I have therefore attempted to make the text as accessible as possible to all kinds of readers, but without sacrificing any of the essential details of the story. I have remained faithful to the translations to which I had access, and I believe that my book is as authentic as a renditions as you are likely to find.
Okay, thank you very much, Neelam. Yeah, Krishna Dharma Prabhu is just defining exactly how he's writing the book. He's writing it in a novel fashion as a story. He's cutting out a lot of lengthy philosophical aspects. The philosophy will be there. Siddhanta means philosophy. It must be there. Amita Prabhu, you're with us now? Not yet. So the philosophy must be there, but he's making it more brief so that we focus on the storyline. We can get into the mood and the atmosphere of that time. We're not talking of Kali Yuga now. When we read Mahabharat, we immediately transferred back into the Dwapara Yuga. So in Dwapara Yuga, there's a different guna. The modes of passion and ignorance are prominent. In Kali Yuga, what is the prominent guna in Kali Yuga?
Hypocrisy.
Passion, Raja. Rajas.
What is the prominent guna of Kali Yuga?
Rajas.
That's Treta Yuga. What is prominent in Kali Yuga?
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Hooray! Tamagun. Okay, so in Kali Yuga, we've got Tamagun. It's like this. Satya Yuga predominated with Sattva. Then we've got Treta with Sattva and Rajas. We've got then the Dwapara Yuga, Rajas and
Tamas.
Tamas. And Kali Yuga?
Tamas.
Tamagun. Kali Yuga means Tamagun, heavy. Very heavy. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, people very, they're on the Pashu Jivan consciousness. Their consciousness is very much, I am the body. They have no awareness of they're living in Coronation Street and they're living in Emmerdale Farm. They're living in Cuckoo Land. So this is Kali Yuga. Isn't that right, Gemma? Gemma's not far from Coronation Street up there in Chorley. Amita Prabhu, you're with us now. Amita Prabhu? No, he's having trouble getting in, it looks like. What a shame. Let's continue. The last part of the is Rajni. Go ahead, Rajni.
Just a second. You talked about
the last part of the introduction, Rajni Ben.
Unfortunately, I don't have the introduction here.
Okay, Gemma.
I haven't got a camera. Video.
Okay. No worries. I understand. Don't worry. We'll work on it.
Okay. I will not delay your reading further. I have written a note at the end giving more background information, and you will also find glossaries and appendices delineating the Mahabharat's many characters. Now I will leave you to immerse yourself in the great ocean of the Mahabharata. All I can add is that the book has captivated me with its sublime message, making my life richer and fuller. I pray that it may give you as much pleasure as it has given me in my many readings. Dharme
chate cha kame cha mokshe cha bharatashabha yad ihasti tad anyat trayan nehasti natat pachit. Okay, and the last part is Jayanti.
Yes. In the realm of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, ethics, economic development, pleasure, and liberation. Whatever is found in this epic may be found elsewhere, but what is not found here will be impossible to find anywhere else. Mahabharata Adi Parva 56.33.
Okay,
Krishna Dharma.
so this is establishing the unique feature of the Mahabharata here. Yeah. Things may be found elsewhere, but elsewhere information, other shastras will not, the information in those shastras will not be found that comparable to the Mahabharata. Basically, in other words, Mahabharata itself, like the Srimad Bhagavatam, is a universal literature, and it's incomparable to any other literature, other than there's one other literature which it is comparable to. Who can tell me?
Ramayana,
Ramayan, Haribo, who said that?
Rajni.
Rajni, you get the Rasgula. Haribo.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hang on. Okay, let's continue. Amita's struggling to get, I think he's on his phone, so he may be struggling. Okay, let's continue now with Rajni, Jayanti. Janaki, you can start off the actual first chapter, please.
Chapter 1, Birth of the Kuru Elder. Ambika peered curiously into the mirror as her maidservants finished adorning her in preparation for the nuptial bed. She had lost none of her beauty, despite her months of mourning. Her skin was flawless and as white as milk. Curling jet black hair framed her oval face. Bow-like eyebrows arched over her black eyes, which curved like two lotus petals. No wonder Vichitavirya had been so enamored of her, rarely leaving her side. While he was alive, her maidservants had adorned her each evening, just in case her lord had desired to approach her. As Ambika again put on her ornaments and fine dress, her mind drifted sadly back to the days she had spent with her husband. After having lain in that great hero's powerful arms, how strange to now be preparing to meet another man.
Okay, that's the first paragraph of the Mahabharata, first chapter. Let's welcome Amita Prabhu. Give him a big Haribo.
Haribol, Haribol.
You must be on your phone, Prabhu.
Yes, I can see and hear now. I've had a problem getting the hearing bit going, but
Okay.
I'm hearing the name Vichitavirya. It suddenly worked.
Okay.
Oh,
So
great.
we've just done a brief introduction, and Janaki, as Mataji has just started.
Haribol, Janaki.
Hare Krishna, Haribol.
She's just read the first paragraph of the first chapter.
Yeah, I heard. I'm delighted that I'm at the beginning.
Right at the
Yeah.
very beginning. And as Krishna Dharma's mentioned at the beginning on the introduction, he's written this in a fashion of a novel. So it's like, you know, you could actually process this for screenplay. You can make a movie, use this to make a movie. It's very similar to a novel style. And that's the way he's writing this book. Okay, let's ask Meena. Oh, Meena is here. Hare Krishna, Meena. Can you hear us? Unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. How are you?
I'm very good. Nice to hear you. Anyway, we've got Rajni is here. We've got Meena. Are you? You're not Meenakshi, are you?
No,
No, Meena. Well, Meena, have you got a Mahabharat?
no, Prabhuji, I don't. I
Well,
was wondering.
here's one coming right now. If you look in the chat, go to the
Yeah.
chat, open up chat. There's a Veda-base link to the Mahabharata there.
I can access to Veda base, yeah.
Yes, it's in the chat there. You can go straight to the first chapter here, Birth of the
I
Kuru
have
Elders.
Veda base open over here. Hold
Yeah.
on. Sorry.
Okay, you go to the first chapter. We're now coming to the second actual paragraph, which I'll ask Amita to read now. Go ahead.
No, I haven't got access to a book, Prabhu.
Oh,
I'm
you
just
haven't? Can you go on this link? Can you see the link there, the chat?
No,
Oh, okay. Well,
no,
listen.
I'm right. I'm just learning, so I'll just listen.
Okay,
So
well, there it is here, look.
So sorry, it's Mahabharat part 1, the die is cast, that one, or where are
Yes, it's cast. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The die is cast, and we got Birth of the Kuru Elders coming up. So, Meena,
Yeah.
you just come in. Rajni,
Yeah.
you've read something, haven't you, from the introduction?
No, I haven't, because
Okay,
just
Rajni, you couldn't get it. That's right. Let's go with Rajni next, so we don't leave anyone out.
so what do I do now? Part 2
Go to
or what?
the second paragraph of Birth of the Kuru Elders, beginning Ambika Bhakt.
Well,
Is that the introduction still?
No, this is the first chapter now.
Oh, let me get to the first chapter. Is that the one with Jayanti
Die is
Damanthi?
cast. Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah,
What did you-
Ambika peered curiously, and then you've got Ambika barked, the second paragraph.
So all I got is chapter 8, text 1 of the Quinty Parikshit Save. Is that it?
No,
No.
after that we have posted one more, Mataji. We have posted the again I have posted the Veda base link. Can you check the recent one?
While you're doing that, we'll carry on with Jai Shri Krishna, Prabhu. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Okay.
Ambika balked at the prospect and grew increasingly restless. She dismissed the maidservants as they fussed around her. She needed to be alone to think. When her husband had died so untimely, she had wanted to ascend his funeral pyre and follow him to the heavens. She could not imagine living without him. But Satyavati, the queen mother, had restrained her. She still had a duty to perform, despite the fact they had enjoyed so much pleasure together. After 7 years of marriage, they had not produced a child. Without leaving an heir, the king was guilty of neglecting a prime duty. How, then, would he be able to reach the higher regions?
Okay, so there's the second paragraph. Now, what is going on is that Krishna Dharma's decided he started the book here, ending the period of the reign of Vichitavirya. Now, King Vichitavirya, he had 3 wives, Amba, Ambalika, and Ambika. Now, he has prematurely left his body. He prematurely died. Who knows how Vichitavirya died? Who knows what caused his death? It begins with T.
Tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis. So somehow or another he contracted tuberculosis. He died prematurely in his wife's arms. And here we have the scenario where his wife is lamenting, and Ambika is remembering him as a wife would remember the husband. And this is the scenario right now where we've gone through the life of Vichitavirya. Prior to Vichitavirya was Maharaj Santanu, etc. It goes right back. So he's starting the Mahabharat from this point on. Okay, so go ahead, Archana.
Satyavati had convinced Ambika and her co-wife Ambalika to stay and fulfill their husband's duty and thereby secure the welfare of his soul. The scriptures allowed that in times of emergency, a man's elder brother could convince children in his wife if he was unable. This was such an emergency. Ambika felt more peaceful. Her union with Bhishma would not be betrayal of the love she felt for her husband, but a service to him and to the kingdom. The kingdom. She stopped her restless pacing and lay down on the ivory bed in bashful anticipation. Bhishma was powerful and righteous man who better to see the future king, who better to see this,
Sire,
see the
sire.
sire the future king. She should ensure that it felt completely honored by her.
Okay, so there we are. Ambika now is under the impression that Bhishma Dev, being one of the elder Kurus, was going to father a child through her, because, as we all know, the kings, it's necessary that the king will get the heir. The heir to the throne must come through the line of that particular gotra. So there she is now in this condition. However, something is about to happen. Go ahead, Neelam.
There was a knock at the door. Ambika looked up shyly. The door opens and a tall man entered. Ambika's blood turned cold. This was not Vishma. There in her bedchamber stood a wizened, ugly, and filthy ascetic. His matted locks hung about his gaunt face, and he stared at her with fierce eyes. Stared at her with fierce eyes. His teeth were only slightly less black than his complexion. Around his waist was a soiled loin cloth, his only garment. His hairy body was encrusted with dirt. Without any delay, he came toward her and sat by her side. She instantly recoiled from the foul stench and emanating from his body. Who was this person? She knew of no brother-in-law other than Vishma. She prayed to the god that she might lose consciousness, for how could she endure this fearful man's touch? As he put his hands on her dress, she closed her eyes, barely able to repress her urge to scream.
Okay, so we all know now what's happened. Yeah, is that out of brevity, because of the situation, the emergency of the situation, the Kuru elders have approached the great sage Vyasadeva to impregnate the queens. And poor old Ambika here, she's not aware of it. And suddenly, here's this very, very horrible person coming to her room, and she's a queen, she's enjoying the highest, finest, opulent lifestyle, and suddenly this disgusting man has entered the room. Anyone would be shocked. Anyone would be shocked, but the reaction to this is she's closed her eyes. Okay, let's welcome AK. AK, who's AK? Alex.
Right. Haribol.
Welcome. Please go to the first chapter of Mahabharat.
Yep.
First chapter of the Mahabharat, and we've got the 1, 2, 3. What is it? 1, 2, 3. The fourth paragraph. Yes.
Okay.
Page 6, Alex.
Page 6. Yep. Yeah. The scenario is that Ambika. The story is started with Ambika, who was the wife of Vichitavira, one of the 3 wives of Vichitavira, that Bhishma Dev had kidnapped from their wedding. He had kidnapped them, for they were betrothed to princes and kings, and he went and did a Rakshasa wedding for them. In other words, they were kidnapped and they were brought to Vichitavira, and then unfortunately Vichitavira died prematurely from tuberculosis, and now they quickly invited his brother Vyasadeva, who is the son of Satyavati, and therefore, or Ganga, and therefore, he's now going to impregnate the sisters. Okay, these 3 sisters. So that's the scenario. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Amita, oh no, Amita's listening in. Sorry, Prabhu. Jai Shri Krishna, who's next? Is Neelam Gemma.
Sure. Satyavati blamed herself. If it had not been for her father's greed, Hastinapur would not be in such a precarious situation now. Here's that the powerful Bhishma, son of the goddess Ganga, there is no greater hero on earth. As the eldest son of the righteous King Shantanu, he was the natural heir to Hastinapur's throne. But the kingdom's good fortune had been thwarted by her foolish father on her behalf.
Okay, let's go to Rajni.
Sorry, Prabhu, I still haven't got chapter 1 here. How can I get this chapter 1? I've got nothing here.
Jayanti, she's
Yes,
having
Prabhu.
trouble.
I mean, go to the chat page, but it's Veda based.
I have given you the link, Mataji, for the chapter 1.
Where is that? I mean, it's on the chat page.
Is
Just
it
a moment.
is it under 1941, 1947, or 205? Which one is it? It's the
Click on the last one, the 2005.
2005, yeah. Go to 2005, the last one, Rajni.
So I've gone to 2005.
I have posted it, Rajni Mataji. Can you check once again? Chapter 1.
It doesn't say chapter, it says part 1, part 2.
Yes, if you click on part 1, then it'll take you to chapters.
Yeah, so the chapter 1.
Posted you the current one.
So you want to go,
you can open that link.
Shall I go to the chapter 1 then, birth of Kuru?
Yeah.
And you want me to read the paragraph?
Yeah, you can go down.
Right.
She could still vividly picture the fateful events. Okay.
So wait, paragraph, which paragraph then?
Look, I'll read it, and what you do is you'll catch it. Just go down to page 6 there, or whatever you've got there, and you'll catch it. She could still vividly picture the fateful events. It had seemed like any other day. She was sitting by the river's edge, waiting to ferry travelers across. Okay, now we're talking about Satyavati here. He's going back now a little bit to recap on something. She was sitting by the river's edge. Her father, leader of the fishermen, had given her that duty so she would gain the religious merits born of service to travelers. On this particular day, the emperor of the world, the mighty Shantanu, had been hunting in the nearby forests and was seduced by the alluring fragrance that emanated from her body. Having sought out the source of that celestial scent, he had become bewitched by her beauty. From his gaze, it was obvious he desired to marry her. Hearing that she was still unmarried, he had hurried to her father's house to ask for her hand. Are you with us, Rajni?
Yes, I am now. I found that. Yes.
Oh, go ahead then. When she herself, go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. When she herself had arrived home, she saw Santanu leaving their humble hut in dismay. Her father had stipulated that he could only marry her if he promised the throne to her son. But the emperor already had a qualified son in Devabrata, and he had already been consecrated as the prince regent. The king was not prepared, simply for his own pleasure, to wrong his worthy and beloved son. Thus he left, his heart torn by desire. Continue.
Yes, now this is the situation. He's recapping now a little bit of the history. And of course, Santanu's become smitten, as men do. I think the women become smitten sometimes by the men, but in my experience, the men get smitten more by the women because women have got beauty, they've got charm, they've got so much elegance to them. Isn't that right, Amita Prabhu? Would you agree?
No
You know,
comment.
the men get smitten by the ladies. I'm sure Neelam and Archana, I'm sure you've all had the experience of, you know, your husbands falling madly in love with you, and the whole thing, Jayanti. And this is human nature. So a lot of the human condition is being portrayed unashamedly in these pages of the Mahabharat, and also in pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam. You'll be very surprised that parts of the Srimad Bhagavatam are very graphic in terms of the attraction between the male and the female. It's explained in the Shastra by Narada that a man is compared to a butter pot or a kumbha, or what's another name? Kumbha or a mudka, and the butter pot. No, the man is compared to the butter or ghee, and the lady is compared to a mudka or butter pot, a hot butter pot. What happens when you put the butter in the hot butter pot?
Melts.
It melts. So, in other words, you become a ghee hasta. We have grihasta, but many times the grihastas become grihasta. Rita, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I like that. You just made that up?
That come from Keshi Satru, Prabhu.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
That's one of his from 1984, 85.
Okay.
Going back, we're 40 years ago now.
Yes.
So, yes, a grihasta is someone who is very smitten. Now, Tulsi Nath, we all know Tulsi, not Tulsi Nath, the Tulsi who wrote the Ramcharitamanas and Hanuman Chalisa. He was very much a grihasta. He was madly in love with his wife. He couldn't, you know the story of the Tulsi? He couldn't stay away from his wife. He was always running after her. So this is the position here with Santanu. Santanu has become totally smitten by Satyavati, and he wants to marry her. But the father of Satyavati has said, well, if you want to marry my daughter, her son must become the king. And now Santanu is left feeling very, very sad. Okay, so let's ask Janaki. No, Rajni, Jayanti, you're next in line.
Yes. Satyavati, I need to, okay. When she herself had arrived home, she saw Shantanu leaving her humble hut in dismay. Her father had stipulated that he could only marry her if he promised the throne to her son. But the emperor already had a qualified son in Devavrata, and he had already been consecrated as the prince regent. The king was not prepared simply for his own pleasure to wrong his worthy and beloved son. Thus he left his heart torn by desire.
Okay,
This is already
very disappointed he was. Very disappointed. Okay, let's go to Janaki.
Satyavati too had pined for many days, praying to the gods to arrange her union with the king. Then one day, unknown to Shantanu, Devavrata appeared at their hut to solicit her hand on the emperor's behalf. Her father repeated his condition, and Devavrata agreed. He would never ascend Hastinapura's throne. The crown could go to Satyavati's children. Still, her father hesitated. He had heard enough about court intrigues to know that if Devavrata relinquished the throne, then Devavrata's children might feel cheated and oppose Satyavati's son. The fisher king voiced his doubts. Hearing them, Devavrata uttered a terrible vow. He would never accept a wife, but would maintain lifelong celibacy. In order to secure his father's happiness, he said, he was ready to renounce all personal enjoyment. Satyavati now recalled that when Devrata made that vow, flowers had rained from the sky and a thunderous voice had echoed from the heavens. From this day, his name shall be Bhishma, one of a terrible vow.
Yes, he made this huge vow. Now, for a Kshatriya, for a Brahmin to make this vow is reasonable. Reasonable Brahmins. They're more in the sattvic mode, and their lifestyle is they eat less. They don't have to be very strong and powerful. You know, a Brahmin is different. A Vaishya also is not so governed by Rajas, mode of passion. But Kshatriyas, they have to be strong, fit. They have to be virile to be able to procreate the lineage of the line of kings. They have to be prepared to get up and fight. They have to be very much in the mode of rajas. Now, for a king or a raja to become a brahmana, to make a vrat of celibacy, is a terrible thing, a terrible vow. Therefore, he's celebrated as Bhishma. Can we all say Bhishma?
Bhishma.
Prolonged sound. Bhishma.
Bhishma.
Everyone together. Come on, Neelam. Bhishma.
Bhishma.
Very nice. Okay. Okay, go ahead then, Meena.
Prabhuji, I'm sorry, I cannot read right now.
Okay, Alex Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Satyavati looked at Bhishma now as he sat respectfully before her. She spoke his name and he looked up, ready to execute her command. Maybe she could yet convince him. He had always been obedient to her, even more so since Shantanu's death.
Read a bit more, Prabhu. It was very short.
Okay. My dear Bhishma, please think again. The queen said as she pulled her fine silk sari over her plaited hair. You made your vow simply to secure the interests of your father and me. I now absolve you of that vow. You have always been fixed in virtue. Please consider our present situation. Just as you made your vow to serve your elders, you should now serve them by acting for the welfare of our line. Surely this is your duty. Ascend Hastinapura's throne and beget powerful sons to secure this ancient kingdom's future. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes. So this is the situation. Bhishma, of course, Devavrata is the son of Ganga, Ganga Putra. He's called the Ganga Putra, the son of Ganga Devi. So he's the son of a goddess. His father, King Shantanu, Maharaj Shantanu, a very great celestial personality is Bhishma. Therefore, what we're talking about here in Dwapara Yuga is very different to the Kali Yuga scenario. In Kali Yuga, the Devas, they do not descend, they do not visit the earth planet. In this Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, the Devas, the Gandharvas, Apsaras, they would come here regularly visiting. Not this country. the Devas didn't come to Britain. This wasn't on the tour guide. This country was Britannia. Who knows what Britannia means? Or, of course, Edmonton also. I'm afraid to say they weren't there up there in Canada there. Because even though it's beautiful in Canada, Moscow, no, they weren't really, I don't think they fancied Moscow so much, but India, they would regularly visit India and Bharatvarsha, these Devas and Gandharvas coming there, not only because Bharatvarsha, India is a beautiful place, the climate is very fine there, especially in the Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, South India, it never gets cold down there. It never gets cold. Very, very pleasant. But also because it's Punya Bhumi. Because India's Punya Bhumi, it's a Dharma Bhumi. It's a place of Dharma. Therefore, these devas would come regularly to Bharatvarsha. Okay, let's go back. Meena, have you found any? Have you found a place?
To me?
Yeah, Meena.
Oh, Meena.
Sorry, Neelam. I'm just asking Meena if she's found the
Oh,
spot
sorry.
yet.
Prabhuji, I found it, but I cannot read right now. I'm in
Oh,
the kitchen.
okay.
I'm
Oh,
too
that's
soon.
fine then. That's fine. Jai Shri
Sorry.
Krishna Prabhu.
Bhishma shook his head in exasperation. Mother, please do not ask me to stray from the path of truth. It can never be as you suggest. The sun may renounce its splendor, water its wetness, and the sky its sound, but I will never renounce truth. Shall I continue?
Yeah.
Bhishma asked Satyavati to consider the deeper cause of the unexpected emergency facing the kingdom. It was due to all-powerful destiny. How else could it have come to pass that, although she had borne two powerful sons, both had died without producing an heir to the throne? All the kings on earth had paid tribute to Satyavati's eldest son, Chitraganda. His reputation for prowess in battle was unwavering. Virtue had reached the heavens. It was thus that the mighty king of the Gandhars, who bore the same name, became envious upon hearing his glories. The jealous Gandharva could not tolerate another famous and powerful Chitraganda. He came to earth and challenged his rival to battle. The battle raged for years, but in the end, the valorous son of the Satyavati was slain and the proud Gandharva returned triumphant to the heavens.
So there we are. There's an example straight away of Gandharvas in Dwapar Yuga descending to this Bharatvarsha, not to Britannia Varsha or Canada Varsha. They were coming to India specifically. Okay, Archana.
Then the powerful Vichitravirya ascended the throne but died from an illness after only 7 years of ruling. Neither he nor his brother left a child. Bhishma rose and looked out of the latticed window. A full moon illumined the place gardens, casting a silver light across the broad sand-thorn path where Vichitravirya had loved to walk with his queens. He turned back to Satyavati and continued, Mother, we cannot thwart providence of acting immorally. In all circumstances, a virtuous man acts in obedience to God's will. Auspiciousness and victory always attend virtue, while grief is the sure result of ungratefulness. Therefore, I cannot abandon my vow.
Okay, very good. Now, Bhishma is just showing his cultural strength here. And anyone with good cultural samskar, we call it samskar, vrata. When you've got the culture within your blood, unlike myself and Western people, we are adopting this culture. Having said that, the people born in India of Indian descent can identify to so many of these things just because of their blood relationship with the culture. So it's very, very strong. So here's Bhishma, son of a great goddess, the Ganga. Ganga is one of the great goddesses within this universe, and she's extremely purifying. Bhishma Dev, who knows where Bhishma descended from? What was he before he became Devavrata? Begins with a V, a V. Now, if I give you a clue, Narada was a Gandharva. Did you know that Narad Muni was a romantic man?
No,
Narada
he's
was
not.
very romantic before he became Narada. he was a Gandharva called Upabharana. And he got cursed because during the Sankirtan of the Prajapatis in Swag, he was singing film songs. Narad Muni was singing Aja Aja. He was singing what Prabhupada says in the Bhagavatam, he was singing film songs, which are romantic songs. So the Prajapatis, they shrapped him. Shrap! You become Shudrani Putra. Shudrani Putra. You become the son of a Shudrani. And he was cursed to take a birth immediately. So he lost his status. Similarly, Bhishma, what was he before he became Devavrata? Begins with a V.
Aisha.
He was a very nice person. No. A V. He was a Vasu. Can we say Vasu? Vasu is a particular type like a Vidyadhara, Charana, Kinara, and there's the Vasus. Okay, so he was one of the Vasus. Okay, so who just read there? Jai Shri Krishna? Archana? Who read? You read?
Yeah, I just read, Prabhuji.
Oh, go on, Neelam.
Satyavati sat silently. Bhishma's adherence to truth and virtue was unshakable. He had spoken well. She bowed her head as he went on. In any event, mother, it seems destiny has provided us with a solution quite in keeping with the religion. If the illustrious Vyasadeva produces offspring upon the queen, we shall be saved. Let us pray that everything goes well. Satyavati nodded. It was she who had summoned the powerful Rishi Vedvyas, her firstborn son. It had taken some courage for her to reveal how she had given birth to that sage, even in her maidenhood. Out of fear of public and censor, she had hidden these facts for years, but she still remembered how the celestial Rishi Prash, Prashara Parashara had one day come onto her board and begotten the great Vyasdev in her womb. Parashara has told her that province had destined her for greatness. He was giving an illustrious son who would play an important part in that great destiny. Prashra had then granted her the boon of keeping her maidenhood even after union with him, and it was he who had blessed her with a celestial fragrance which had captivated Shantanu. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much. Thank you, Neelam. That situation there is a prior to her connection with Parasara Muni, who is one of the great rishis, Narada Muni, Parasara Muni, Vashishta, etc. Prior, her body, because she was dealing with a fisherman, her father was fisherman, her body smelled of fish. Now, if you put on perfume, fish scented perfume, do you think that's a good idea? Everyone's going to go, oh my God. Oh, please. Now, by the contact with Parasara Muni, her body smelled of celestial fragrances, which transcended even Chanel. Now, the point is that Parasara Muni himself was a greatly liberated soul. There's a statement in the Shastra that one should not imitate the activities of great personalities like Lord Shiva. What is Lord Shiva famous for? What achievement or activity did he perform that is inimitable? Inimitable. What did he do?
He drank poison?
He drank the poison. So Srila Prabhupada describes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita also, Nectar of Instruction, various books, that people like to imitate Lord Shiva by smoking bhang. You see these people, they have the matted locks, they keep ash on their body, and they're smoking bhang. So Prabhupada says it's very nice that they imitate Lord Shiva in this way, but if they're prepared to smoke the bhang and dress like this, then they should also be prepared to drink poison. But will they drink the poison? Nahi, nahi, nahi. Can we all say that together?
Nahi.
Nahi,
Nahi,
nahi.
nahi, nahi.
Nahi.
They will
Yeah.
not do that. They will not do that because they're cheating. The cheaters will not they will not follow Lord Shiva to that extent. So similarly, Parashar Muni, he is procreated with a maiden, a virgin girl here. Satyavati was young lady, as we call a minor. We would call a minor, young girl. I don't know what her age was at the time, maybe 14, maybe 15. Who knows the age? But he is conceived within her a celestial being in the form of Devavrata. But the point is that after the conception of the child, her virginity was maintained. Who is another example of having a child from a celestial person or a great personality where the virginity is maintained?
Kunti Devi?
Draupadi?
Kunti Devi. Yeah, Draupadi. No, not Draupadi. Sorry, Kunti Devi. Kunti Devi. Some people may say Mary, mother of Jesus. That may be a possibility, maybe. But in our line, Kunti Devi is the prime example. And who did she give the birth to?
Karna.
Karna. And
Karna.
why was Karna called Karna?
Ah,
He has a kundal in his hair.
No, because Amita Prabhu.
No, I'm not sure.
Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu. Jai Shri Krishna? Oh, I thought you were frozen. Because Kunti Devi, she gave birth to Karna from her ear.
No.
Ear. So because of this type of birth, she was able, because of the sun god, Surya, he gave her the power to give the birth through the ear. Therefore, his name is
Karan.
Karna. This is there in this will come later. Actually, this is in the story later. We'll read this later. So where have we got to here? What was the last paragraph?
Captivated
Fragments
Shantanu.
with captivated Shantanu.
Captivated Shantanu. Which page is this? Page 8 or 9?
Page
Page 8.
Gita
Yes,
Vyas, there is no page.
The next chapter is Satyavati crossed the mosaic floor
Oh,
of
right. Okay, so now let's just do two more paragraphs because we did start late. Is everyone enjoying the story so far?
Yes.
This is what we call, like Srila Prabhupada has written in the Bhagavad Gita for the first chapter, which is Arjuna Yoga. There's a yoga name for it, but Prabhupada calls it setting the scene. So what's happening in this first chapter here, the scene is being set for the next chapter, which will be called Pandu, Cursed and Blessed. So we're going to go straight into that, but for this point, we're just setting the scene. A little bit of history is here. It has to be there. Shantanu, Ganga, Satyavati, Vichitavirya, Ambika, Ambalika, Amba, etc. So let's carry on now with Gemma. Have you read the last part?
No.
Go on then, Gemma.
Okay. Satyavati pressed the mosaic floor to the golden water pitcher on a nearby table. Her throat was dry with anxiety. She poured herself a cup of the cool water and then returned to her silk-covered seat. Hundreds of bright oil lamps lit up the great hall where she sat. Along the high walls hung fine paintings of her ancestors, going back to the mighty King Kuru. All of them had been powerful emperors of the globe. Surely the Kuru dynasty would not end now. The queen said, I have been praying for the kingdom ever since my son's demise. I have faith that Vyasadeva will prove a shelter to us all, but seeing the adverse fate afflicting us, I still cannot help but be fearful.
Rajni.
Yeah. Satyavati felt deeply for the kingdom and for Santanu's line. She still acted out of her love for the departed monarch. It was certainly providential that Parasara had given her Vyasadeva as her son. Vyasadeva had grown up to maturity immediately upon his birth and had left her, saying, Dear mother, should you ever be in difficulty, then simply think of me. I shall come to you at once from wherever I may be. As Bhishma and Satyavati spoke, Ambika's door opened and Vyasadeva came out. Bhishma bowed at his feet and Satyavati anxiously asked, Will the princess bear an accomplished son? Raising it, sorry, yes.
Thank you very much. Yes. And of course, you know, we've got situation here where Vyasadeva has now just been born from Parasara and Satyavati. And immediately, you know, there's no baby, there's no growing the child. He's immediately manifested in a mature form. Can anyone tell me another person who was born in the Srimad Bhagavatam that was born and immediately walked away from his mother?
Shukdev Goswami?
Yes, Vyasaki. Vyasaki, the son of Vyas. It seems to be a family tradition here that Sukadev Goswami, he didn't even adorn any clothes. He simply got up, he was born, he had been in the womb of the mother for how many years?
16.
16 years. He was a Siddha yogi already, descending from the Siddhaloka planet. Prior to this, he was a very exalted personality in Goloka Vrindavan. Who can tell me the identity or the Sarup or Nitya Sarup form of Shukadev Goswami in Goloka?
Parrot.
He was a shuka, a parrot. And therefore, he is very good example of our Vaishnav line is that we are considered parrots. We only repeat the message of the Guru. And this is our exact formula. Prabhupada said many times that I haven't done anything extraordinary. I haven't performed any miracles here. I've simply not changed anything my Guru has told me. I haven't changed a word. This is what Prabhupada has said. Isn't that right, Amita Prabhu?
Yeah.
Prabhupada has said this many times. I haven't done anything extra. I just haven't changed anything.
Yeah, do not change anything.
Our line is Shuka. Shukadev. We come in the line of Shukadev. That was, we have two businesses in the Vaishnav line. Parrot, and what's the other one?
Preach.
Postman.
Oh, postman.
Postman. Yes, we simply deliver the message unchanged. So this is the business of and of course Sukadev Goswami, he also stood up. He had the Anima Siddhi. He had many siddhis. One siddhi is he could remain very small, and upon leaving the womb, otherwise how could he stay in the womb for 16 years? He has to have some siddhis. So he came out, Brahman realized, and he immediately left. and spoke. The first thing he did was walk down from the Himalayas to the place in, oh gosh, I've forgotten the place now where he spoke the Bhagavatam. On the back.
Naimishan.
No, that's
Naimishan.
the second one. That's the second place. We'll have to find out where that was, where he spoke it first. I think it was Nashik. I'm not sure where it was, but he was on the bank of Ganga, and then he sat down naked as the day he was born, naked. But because his consciousness was completely pure, free from calm, there was no hint of any lust, calm in his being, in his subtle body. Therefore, though he was naked, he had no identification with his body, and therefore there was no agitation from others when they saw him. They just thought, oh, he's an avaduta and he's a naked sadhu. Like Rishabh Dev, there were so many great sages that went naked. Shukadev is one of them. He spoke the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. He wasn't wearing a stitch of clothing. And I tell you, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I'd be so embarrassed. How about Amrita Prabhu? Would you have a go? Would you attempt that one?
No.
Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu? No. I won't even mention it to the ladies. We won't even look at that. It's impossible for us. We're so body conscious. These great sages and saints, they were so spiritually absorbed. They could speak completely like Lord Shiva speaking Bhagavatam to all the rishis, and there's his wife Parvati sitting on his lap. These great personalities, they are completely above this bodily identification. So wherever he may be, is that where we finished?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's put the line there. Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhuji,
Jai Shri
I have to
Krishna.
read.
Huh?
I have not read, Prabhu.
All right, go ahead then. Read this part. Read this part then as Bhishma.
As Bhishma and Satyavati spoke, Ambika's door opened and Vyasadev came out. Bhishma bowed at his feet and Satyavati anxiously asked, "Will the princess bear an accomplished son?" Raising his hand in blessing, as Bhishma stood up, the sage replied to Satyavati, "The queen will bear a son who will be as strong as 10,000 elephants. He will be vastly intelligent, wise, and prosperous. He will have 100 sons, but, O pious lady, for the fault of his mother, he will be born blind." Satyavati was shocked. How can one be how can one who is blind become a king of the Kuru race? She asked. Vyasdev explained that he had gone to Ambika prepared to beget a son worthy in every way, but the queen had closed her eyes in fear, but she saw him. When agreeing to produce an heir to the throne, the sage had stipulated that the queen must accept him in his unpleasant condition. Satyavati had summoned him from the Himalayas, and he had come to her directly from his practice of harsh as- asceticism. Asceticism.
Asceticism.
Okay, asceticism. He kept himself unwashed and unkempt as a part of his aesthetic vows. He said, "I would have come to the queen in a handsome form decked with jewels, but if she had first accepted a religious vow for 1 full year. But you asked that she conceive immediately. Therefore, I stated my conditions in place of religious vow."
There we are. He's explaining why he suddenly had to appear. Yes, Vyasadeva was such an ascetic, he was so completely detached from his external body that he needed a 1 year, a 1 year bath. I mean, that is a serious situation when you take 1 year to get yourself cleaned up. So he was practically growing moss out of his body. He was so, you see these sages in the forest wearing tree bark, and they're completely absorbed in Brahman. Oops, in Brahman there. So Janaki, you can finish off the this particular section.
Okay, are we Satyavati cursed herself? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Satyavati cursed herself for her impatience. She had not wanted to wait. Without an heir to the throne, the kingdom was in constant danger. In a land without a monarch, even the rains would not fall regularly, and the gods would not be propitious. Therefore, she had begged Vyasadeva to approach the queen at once. Now this, a blind son, how could he ever become the king? You must give another king to the Kuru race, she implored. Please approach the other queen, Ambalika. Vyasadeva looked upon his anxious mother with compassion. He soothed her fears. Soon he would return again to beget another child. She need only summon him when Ambalika was prepared to receive him. Vyasadeva then disappeared from the spot. Satyavati turned and spoke to Bhishma. This is what I feared. I must now ask Ambalika to receive the sage. I pray that she will be more successful than her sister.
Okay, lovely. Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu. You can just keep the page here. We're finishing on page 10. First chapter, everyone, page 10. Within a month, Vyasadeva was called. So we're going to go now to the second impregnation of now we're preparing for the birth of course, the father of the Pandavas is coming. We've already heard of the impregnation of Bhishma of Dhritarashtra. Now we're going to hear about the impregnation of Pandu. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining the beginning of this Mahabharat. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Jayanti, did you enjoy the session?
Yes, Prabhu. It was very nice.
Yes.
Janaki?
Yes, very good. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Archana?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
So we've been planning this for how long? About 6 months now. We've been planning this, maybe longer, because we were coming to the end of the Krishna book. It took us a long time to get through, but it took us about 2 months. No, 2 months more to get through the prayers of the personified Vedas. I mean, how many pages was that? 80 pages? 80 pages.
90, I think it was 90.
90 pages just for one chapter. So Krishna book took a long time, but it was a fantastic read. And of course, you know, there's so many shlokas come up that we could refer to, and so many interesting features of Lord Krishna in his Vasudeva feature, manifesting his Svanksha forms, etc. So many things came up there. And now we've started this very exciting Mahabharat. Of course, Mahabharat is like it's very earthy. The story of Mahabharat is it's an itihas. It's a historical account of what went on prior to Kali Yuga. So when we read the Mahabharat, we're going back to the Dwapar Yuga. The different rules of engagements were there in Dwapar Yuga, completely different rules. The mode of rajas was still manifesting in the Dwapar Yuga. There's no rajas in Kali Yuga. It's all tamas, tamagun. As we explained at the beginning, Satya Yuga is predominated by
Sattva.
Treta Yuga is predominated by
Sattva and
Rajas.
Sattva Rajas. Yes, and then Dwapar Yuga is predominated by
passion and ignorance.
Rajas and Tamas.
And in Kali Yuga,
Only Tamas.
Tamagun. It's a Tamagun situation. So here we are experiencing a little bit of Raj, what it means to be. Rajagun isn't a bad thing. Shouldn't think the Rajagun is a bad thing. It's actually Raja mode of passion is good if we use it especially in the service of the Lord. We need to be motivated. We need to get up. We need to have drive. But because of the influence of tamagun, often our mode of passion becomes degraded. This is mentioned by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, very famous verse. Krishna asks Arjuna, Arjuna asks Krishna, Atakeno prayokto yam, papam chariti purushaha, anichcham api varshnaya, baladiva niyojitaha. He says, oh Krishna, by what is one impelled to act sinfully, even against one's own will? One's pushed to act in a sinful manner. Why? What is this power? And Krishna says,
lust only.
yes.
It is lust only, Arjuna.
It is kama-esha, only lust, Arjuna, which is quickly becomes degraded to
Anger.
anger. Kama-esha, krodesha, rajaguna samudbhava. So this rajaguna is often degraded, but if we engage rajagun in Krishna service, it is elevated to sattva gun. But if we don't, rajagun will take us to tamagun. So thank you very much, everyone. And we will continue next Tuesday at 7:30 with the continuing story of the great epic Mahabharat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Why am I
you.
not on the video?
Thank you, Sakya.
Haribol.
My video is blocked.
Sorry?
The video is blocked for me. I can't.
Video?
Yeah.
How? No, it can't be blocked. No, everyone is here. We can all see. You blocked yourself somehow or another. Is this Rajni or Meena?
Rajni, yeah.
Rajni, yes. Somehow or another. Just a moment.
I've blocked myself, have I?
Yes. I've asked you to start the video. You have blocked yourself on the bottom left. On the